Hello, good morning. Good morning. I was just going to make a podcast this morning, but I thought I'm going to go live and then I'm going to make this into an audio and then I'll post it on the podcast because I changed my mind. That's why, because I changed my mind 5 minutes ago. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about how to overcome the crazy in your life and still have success in your health goals. And this morning has been a pretty good morning so far. I've been able to have my coffee. I learned some sad news this morning, which I hate this stuff, but I'm sure like if my sister catches this, I don't know if some of you guys know, but for 12 years I was, 12 years I was in the handball world, and handball is a kind of an underground sport, but I was a professional handball player from 1999 to 1999 to 2006. And at some point, good morning, Mandy Miller, hi. And, I ran into this world and I traveled all over the place. I met amazing people throughout the United States. And one of the people that I met, I remember her from being 14, 15, 16 years old, and she watched my handball career, but not just my career, like everybody's, but she was just like the biggest ambassador for women's handball. Just such a happy person, one of the nicest, happiest people I've ever seen. And I found out a little bit ago that I didn't even know she had cancer, but Chat and Hayes was, man, it just kind of like wells me up because this woman was so awesome. She got into the handball court, she was always in the game, and she just played for fun, where we played for competition, she played for fun, but she was always that person that got behind us and really pushed women's handball when women's handball really wasn't, was still struggling to kind of make a mark for itself. And she wrote articles, she did journals, she did interviews. I know she interviewed me several times in the handball magazine, and she just was she was just such a wonderful woman, and I had no idea, but I had no idea she had cancer, and then I had no idea she had cancer, and then she had overcome cancer, and then it came back. But my thoughts and prayers with you, chatting. Just like I posted on Beth's page, I'm like, you are a light, you were a light, you're always going to be a light, woman. She is just one of the most awesome people that I've ever met. Was so thankful that in that career that I had, I got to meet her and hang out with her. I just wish we were a little bit closer in age, because she watched me go from a teenager to a young adult, and here I am, even an older adult now. So anyway, so that's kind of going on. But also when the crazy comes in your life, whether it's something like that, like a passing of a friend or a loved one that or something financial happens, we all go through the ebb and flows of life. We all have it. If you don't, you're lying. You're just lying, and it doesn't matter, what kind of lifestyle you live. If you're a Christian, you're going to go through it. If you're not a Christian, you're going to go through it. And it's just finding a basis to where you can land and not crash and burn, and what your foundation is. So that being said, I wanted to go through a few tips to help you overcome the crazy, and you can still meet your weight loss and health goals. And the first one I want to talk about is that you have to understand that we are all set up for failure from the start. From the food industry, from the pharmaceutical industry, we're all set up for failure from the start. But once we understand that, that's not to say doomsday is coming. That's an understanding. If we understand that we've been set up from the beginning for failure, if somebody sets you up for failure and you understand that from the get-go, then you already have a leg up on it, where we can leverage and rise above it, because the whole point of this is to leverage ourselves. We're not set up for perfection. If you strive for perfection, you're going to make yourself crazy. But you strive for leverage and you strive for understanding. And once you understand that concept alone, you can start moving forward and you can start making choices to leverage yourself and beat that concept of being set up for failure. We're set up for success. All of us are created for success, but it's the outside things around us that try to set us up for failure, and the food and pharmaceutical industries are those things. So if we understand that, we can rise above it. Number two, we always have the upper hand. We always can control the upper hand. Okay, so nobody can take away your control unless you just give it to them. Don't give it to them. You know, things happen. I remember back in 2000, the balance of life. Yes, Mandy, balance of life. I remember in 2000, I think it was 2010, we had started to build our cabin at the lake. And that process, I swore up and down that I would never build a house again. And I swore up and down. I remember at one point sitting in the construction of the house, because by the time we had reached within the first like 60 days of construction, our contractor had taken 15,000 of our cash and left town. Left. Nowhere to be found. Nobody, nowhere to see him. Drove over to his lumber yard. It was closed. I think it went bankrupt eventually, and then was sold at auction on the courthouse steps. He said he had pneumonia and all this weird stuff. It was insane. And the guy was a preacher, you know? So we even went to one of his church services. So, I mean, doesn't defer me away from my beliefs or anything like that. But I'm just saying, you know, I remember sitting on the floor of our half-constructed cabin, and I just wanted to put down all the tools. I wanted to put the tools down. I wanted to light a match to it. I was just over the whole thing. It was so frustrating. It did not look like this, you know, 3 walls on a floor was ever going to be a cabin that was going to be built. And that became kind of a crisis in our life. So, you know, in that little time frame, and I don't know how long it took, but it took a while for us to find a new contractor and fix everything. And then, but, you know, and then it went even deeper. You know, we just had this period where it failed every single code inspection, that the inspector said it was so bad that he had run out of paper in his truck to write out all the violations of the construction to begin with. So then, you know, you go through that chaos and that crazy. But here's what I'm saying. We went through that, and I wanted to hand it all over and be like, you know what, forget it. Just forget it. I don't want to do it. I want to hand over my tools, hand over the power, and just walk away and just be done with the whole thing. But here's what we did. We didn't hand it over. We didn't hand over the power. We picked up the tools again. We got back up, dusted ourselves off. We let go of what we couldn't control, and the cabin got built. The cabin got and passed every international 2012 code there was, and we got our permit of occupancy in that log cabin, and we lived there for several years and loved it. So just know that, yeah, we hit these times of chaos and these things, but we can leverage above it. If we don't hand over our power, then we still have the upper hand. We just have to recognize what we have to let go, what we can do where we are at, and what we just got to kind of walk away from, because there's just nothing we can do about it. Okay. And then once you kind of recognize those things, and you'll know those things, everybody has an internal intuition of what we can let go of, what we can control, and what we just need to walk away from, and just let it go. And, you know, in my world is let it go, let God just deal with it. Let go, let God. You know what I mean? Not everything. There's things that we have to take responsibility for, I believe, but just let it go. Just do what you can do, and then just keep moving on, but not stay in that state. So let's see. And then my third thing is, just always pick up where you left off. All right. So we just got through a tropical storm evacuation. So for about 72 hours, things just kind of shifted upside down, just for us for a little bit. You know, just we had to move quickly. We had to move from the camper. We had to find a place to go. We had to weather the storm. And in the midst of all that, you know, just having to just figure out the chaos of what is involved with that. And then that, of course, affects our eating and affects, you know, the choices that we make, because you kind of get under some stress, and then pretty soon you're making choices that you wouldn't normally make under normal conditions. So that being said, just the best thing you can do when this happens is just pick up where you left off. So picking up where I left off for me was just, all right, I'm going to go ahead and intermittent fast probably a good 15 to 17 hours, you know, once we got back, and just pick up where I left off. I'm not going to go crazy and think, okay, now I've got to fast for 48 to 72 hours just to figure this out. No, we just pick up where we left off. We move on, keep moving forward, and just, you know, let be what happened, but, you know, let's just keep on going. Because here's the thing, how you handle this now is going to be a pretty darn good indicator of how you're going to handle it when it comes back around. So if it's not evacuation from a tropical storm, it could be, you know, like just the news of a loss of something, you know what I mean? It could be an unexpected expense that came up at your house. You know, it could be the water heater goes out. It could be it could be anything. It could be your child. It could be anything. So just, you know, we're not perfect in how we handle chaos in our life and the crazy. The hope and the strive should be is to we handle it a little bit better each time it comes around, because it's going to come. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but it is going to come. It happens. We all, when you look at the whole big picture of things, we all live out from day one to our last breath this certain time period, and it goes by really quick. So it's being able to maneuver through these obstacles of life, including our weight loss, including our health, and having the optimal health to make us go longer than we would have thought we could have ever gone, right? And then we just live, you know, just live and enjoy your life and enjoy these things that happen. And yes, you're going to have the ebb and flows, but you can manage it, you can leverage it, and you can absolutely come out better on the other end of it than you did when it happened. So I hope some of this stuff, these concepts and these points will help you overcome the crazy in your life when you are focusing on your health goals and your weight loss and trying to get your health back to better than it was before, or to get it in a place where, you know, you want it to be. And just remember, you have the power. You know, we're already set up for certain things, but that doesn't mean that's where you're going to fall. You're going to fall in a different category. You're going to fall into a different place, and you are going to set that standard over here. You don't have to live by the standard that it's been set up for you. That's just handing over your power. You take your power and you go over here and you set up your own standard. And when those things come, you fall off. Guess what? You stand up, brush off, climb right back up there. If we hadn't climbed right back up there on our home, I mean, things could have changed. And it's the same thing with everything. So anyway, I hope this helped you guys. Trying to see if anybody else has popped on. And I'm still without a phone. So is life. So is life. So is an obstacle, you know. And the reality of that is, you know, come on, it's a phone, right? Yeah, I had everything in it, but, you know, it is what it is. I can't control it. I can't control how fast I can get a new one. All I can do is what I can do. And I'm going to pick up where I left off. And hopefully, you know, I still have the computer where I can do these videos and talk to you guys. But you guys can respond and comment on this. If you're looking for a program to get into, to get things kind of turned around, or a foundation, go to thehormonehack.com and check out my 14-day program. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a beautiful day today. I'm almost out of coffee. But anyway, I got to get going. If you like this, share it. If you need a comment, got a question, comment below. And I will see you guys on the next video. Enjoy your day, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.